Hello. In this video, we're going to go over some of the menu options within the JetStor 826iXD. To get started, let's head over to our unit and log in. The default username and password is admin and 8 zeros. Once logged in, you'll see the dashboard, which will contain a summary of the system information, system throughput, storage view, where you can see various disks and LUNs, and a brief summary of the event log. In the left-hand column, moving down, we have the hardware monitoring section, which will show you a brief summary of the various controllers, backplane, system components. Under System Settings and General Settings, we can change the system name, password, date and time, and other login options. Under the Management Ports section, we can set the IP address for management of the system and even enable dual management ports so that each port can have a dissimilar IP address on each controller. Under the Power Settings section, you can alter additional boot management settings, cache to flash settings, or uninterruptible power supply settings. Under the notification setting, you can set up email alerts, syslog alerts, and other SNMP trap variables. Under the maintenance section, we can see a little bit more granular information about our system. And the Download Service Package button will appear at the bottom of the maintenance screen. This will be useful if you ever need to contact support. Under the Update section, this is where you would update the firmware for your head unit, expansion unit, or change the operational mode, and apply licensing. The Firmware Synchronization tab will help you ensure that the same version of the firmware is running on each controller. The System Identification tab will help you locate the unit in the event that you have more than one. The Reset Defaults menu will let you go back to the beginning of time if you wish to. Configuration Backup lets you create several different backups. These are useful when performing firmware upgrades to ensure that if there is a problem, you can safely recover. The Volume Restoration tab will show you a history of your volume modifications and allow you to restore. Please note that you would want to contact support before doing this. And the last tab under the Maintenance section is the Reboot and Shutdown tab. This is where you can reboot the entire unit or just a single controller if need be. Under Host Connectivity, the Overview section gives us a status of all attached ports. The iSCSI Ports section is where we can set individual settings for those ports. The iSCSI Settings tab gives us other iSCSI related options. iSCSI Targets tab shows us all of the available target IDs and where we can set the network portals that you may have seen in other videos. CHAP accounts is where you would create a CHAP account and password for further authentication to iSCSI LUNs. And under the Sessions tab, you can see any active sessions to the system. The Storage Management section contains disks, where we can see the overall health of all disks and other options. If you had more than one unit, they would appear from this drop-down list. Under the Pools section, this is where you can create and manage disk pools. Pools are the basis for being able to create volumes. The Volume section, which allows us to carve out storage. The LUN Mapping section, that allows us to map new LUNs or modify existing LUNs. Under Data Backup, you have the ability to set snapshots for volumes. Keep in mind you will need to leave space allocated for this. The Remote Replications setting to replicate to another unit. Under the Virtualization section, we see VMware, Microsoft, and Citrix. These items will contain more helpful information about acceleration technologies for each provider. Under the Monitoring section, we have the Log Center. This will contain a more full version of any system logs that have been generated. Under the Enclosures section of Monitoring, we can see a more granular breakdown of what's going on in our system. Under the Performance tab, this is where we can enable individual disk monitoring in graph form or multiple disk monitoring, as well as iSCSI port monitoring. This concludes our overview of the JetStor 826iXD and the variable options available to you within the software. Hope this was informative, and check back soon. Thanks.